morning. My name is Peggy Hendrix. I'm a Georgia Power ratepayer, and I live in Decatur. Actually, I've lived in Atlanta all my life, so I've always been a Georgia Power ratepayer. But I am concerned about the cost and safety of Plant Vogtle. The same documents that Ms. Antonopoulos was referring to, the independent monitors contracted to give reports on behalf of the Public Service Commission staff said that Georgia Power remains committed to completing the facility safely, successfully, and in a timely fashion. But these monitors admit, Georgia Power says that they admit that Plant Vogtle is 7 months behind schedule, and the 7-month delay is estimated to increase the project cost and therefore decrease the financial benefit to customers by $1 billion. So this is a real problem. The PFC staff suggests that any economic benefits to the customers could be eliminated completely depending on the length of delays, and the project could only be financially successful for customers assuming no additional delays. And considering we're so far away from the current 2017 projected completion date, I think it's unreasonable to think that there won't be more delays. And the PFC staff recommended that Georgia Power develop additional delay scenarios of 24, 36, and 48 months. This does not demonstrate that the PFC staff believes that Georgia Power can remain on schedule and thus remain financially viable for customers. I agree with the gentleman that spoke earlier about the radius of impact if there's a disaster at Plant Vogtle. I'm very concerned about the bottom line safety of these plants. So I would encourage you to consider what Ms. Antonopoulos said about not approving these expenditures on Plant Vogtle 3 and 4. I think we should stop that. I think this idea of us already paying through this construction work in progress and nuclear tax, I mean, Georgia Power doesn't have the incentive to get it finished if the ratepayers are continuing to pay for their delays. So I urge you to take all this into consideration, listen to the rest of the speakers, and stop Plant Vogtle. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. All right, the next person, is it Ms. Dawson, is that right? Ms. Dawson? And then on deck will be Mary Jane Mann. And is it Florina? Is that, am I saying that right?
It's Florence, thank you.
Florence, sorry.
Yes.
And just tell us where you're from.
Yes, I'm from Buckhead, and I've lived in Atlanta since 1970, and I've used Georgia Power ever since I came in the world. I just wanted to say off the top of my head, because I'm speaking on very short notice, that while most of the people in the room seem to be open arms with the nuclear idea, we've lived with it a long, long time, there is a group back here that are totally opposed to it, of course. And I just think that at some point we need to back up and look from up above, the big picture, at the safety issues and the things that we know about nuclear and the direction that the world will eventually go, which is to safer energy, and ask ourselves, can we do better? What are we doing? I have a science background. My husband's in medicine. We're well aware that they're even discouraging women from using radiology for mammograms anymore. They've cut back the time. They want to stop it sooner, start it later. And yet the cancer rate is spreading to younger and younger women in these areas of breast cancer and that category. We know that, I mean, I lived in Augusta actually when it was known that the waste was stored in cardboard boxes underground for many years before they reopened the plant up there. Just crazy things have gone on. We know about Chernobyl and the continuing cancer rates there, wherever that is. Cities have been downwind from that. We've talked to some of those women even. We know about Japan and their disaster. These are terribly, terribly frightening things, and we feel safe, but when you really look at all the fault lines in the U.S., we have them where we are also. These are just things that are very frightening to know, and I think that we need to consider our moral position, and when we're gone one day, because we don't live forever, what we will be remembered for. I just wanted to mention one other thing in closing, and that is that generally speaking in our country today, and I think that you all will agree, the trust on the part of the citizens for those empowered is diminishing tremendously. And that can be directly tied to many facts, but also to the flow of money and who has money and who doesn't. And that with Citizens United and many other factors, we just, maybe unwisely, we know many of you are reasonable people, but we as people, the citizens assume that everybody's being bought off because the money seems to flow from where the decisions are being made. So I just think that we need to consider the bigger issues. That's my point of being here today. And I hope that you all will consider the community below Plant Vogtle that has higher cancer rates. There are just so many stats that are never reviewed. And we feel safe, but we do not know what the future holds. And I appreciate you hearing me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson.